Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars. My name is Colin,
My name's Mike.
and we got Mike here from Star Wars Exchange, all Star Wars. Go and check out everything he does. He's fantastic. Today was a great day for Star Wars gamers because we finally got like the first story trailer for Jedi Survivor. How do we feel about the trailer before we break it down? Because I'm definitely hype. I remember being in the room for the panel over for the first game at Star Celebration 2019, and I just remember people didn't really know what to expect, and now we kind of know what we're getting into. I think people are more excited than ever.
Yeah. I was so unfortunate to not able to go to that panel because I really wanted to go, but I chose the Rebels Remembered or something, Rebels
Yep.
Remembered panel that they did instead, and it really sucked pitting Jedi Fallen Order, which I didn't know I was gonna love that much. Just I'm like, oh yeah, that looks fun and everything, but I didn't know that I was gonna love it the way I do now. But it's just crazy because going back, I would have definitely. Even though I love the Rebels panel, I would have so loved to see the first. They brought out in that panel. They brought out they showed you the first footage of the game. They brought out the Purge troopers and showed you
That
what
was
they look
awesome.
like BD1. So I'm like, man, I so wish I was there. But the first trailer, you know, I thought was really good and everything. I'm still hyped for this game, no matter what. But the first trailer was like, yeah, okay, cool. You guys have definitely increased my excitement, but I was already excited. This trailer, however, has showed us a lot of stuff that we know that Marin is back. We know that Grease is back. So it's great to see them both in the trailer because everyone was asking, where are they? And well,
Right.
they're here in this trailer, and I love that. And we'll get into it
Oh yeah.
about their appearances and stuff. But God, this is awesome. This is
There's
awesome.
and kind of tying in from the first trailer that we got like a couple of months back, where we got like the giant jungle wampa thing and just all the different creatures. I'm excited about the creatures. I'm excited about going to familiar planets, seeing
Yes.
possible familiar faces.
Yes.
That like not from the game, but from from the other shows and stuff like that, and a
Right.
possible Obi-Wan Kenobi tie-in. We'll definitely talk about that because this is happening during the same year as Obi-Wan Kenobi
Yes.
of the show, so that's exciting. Let's break it down. We're not doing shot by shot, but we're kind of doing like the main shots from each scene that comes out, and there's a lot to break down. For example, we have this shot right here of where Cal is in a ship. Now the cockpit doesn't look like it is the Mantis. I'm thinking it's a different ship. Do we think it's the Mantis, or are we thinking it's possible like a Inquisitor ship?
Yeah, it looks a little like I'm seeing some of the schematics there, and it looks Imperial. Um,
Okay.
it could be like a bounty hunter ship guild or what's the Haxian Brood? It could be one of their ships.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a very interesting shot. I mean, who's the guy in the back? Is he just a soldier? Is he what?
I'm
Um,
thinking I'm thinking he was a purge trooper, maybe.
yeah,
Because if you kind of look like towards his left, like on like his left shoulder, it kind of looks like he's wearing like that red shoulder
right.
pauldron that they normally wear. I
Hmm.
could be wrong, but that is what it looks like to me.
Plausible.
Yeah. Uh, and then, do you think this will like start directly after the novel that came out? Because I know you've already read the book, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Um, so the novel takes place, which we're talking here about Jedi Battle Scars. It takes place in between Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. So, and I love, by the way, quick shout out to the trailer for telling us, and which obviously will tell you in the game how many years have passed since the events of Fallen Order, because it's been 5 years, and
it's been a
when
long 5 years.
it's been a long exactly. It's been a long 5 years. Love that. But at Anaheim they revealed that, and I remember being like, "Oh wow, that's quite a while. That's quite the leap." So I love that time jump. But yeah, the book takes place in between. So I think that I think the game will be its own thing, but I think they just use this book to kind of like fill in the gaps. of that big jump period, because now I want another book detailing other events in that time period.
I
But
agree.
I think the game, not to confuse people, I think the game will be its own thing, kind of like Inferno Squad, Battlefront Inferno Squad.
Yes.
You know what it was to the campaign in Battlefront 2. So yeah.
Yeah. I I remember when that book came out, and I actually read it. Did you go to Celebration 2017?
I did not.
Okay.
Funny story. I was meant to go, but then as I don't know why I didn't buy tickets beforehand. I was a newbie to the celebration scene.
Yeah, me
I
too.
literally convinced my family to go. So it was my dad, my brother, and one of our cousins, and we were on our way, and we were like, "Oh man, like tickets sold out, whatever." And we ended up just spending going like it was during my spring break too. We
Yeah.
had a senior year of high school, and we just ended up spending the time at Disney World and did all
Yeah.
the Star Wars stuff. And I'm kind of glad I did that because now it's just so different. But and I want to it makes me appreciate Galaxy's Edge even more, because when I went, there's a lot of Star Wars, but compared to what they have now, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. But no, I didn't. I was not at that celebration.
Yeah, they so I that was also like I was just getting into celebration and stuff, and that was my first celebration that I ever went to. And I remember going to that panel, being really hyped about the first game, and then they had the second game, and it was really cool to have some of the actors there, and they actually had the main actress, ja, Jania, and no one really knew who she was, and she was sitting in the front row, and she actually signed my stormtrooper helmet and everything afterwards.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
dude.
insane.
Yeah, and then a couple of months later, the game came out, and I just remember playing the crap out of it and being
Ugh.
so hyped and everything. Again, with all these stories from Celebration, if you get the chance to go to
Yes.
Star Wars Celebration, guys. It's so cool, and you will meet the coolest people, possibly some of your best friends, because
Yes.
I've met so many great people along the way that I'm very close with now. So
And
honestly, go.
we met at celebration too. I mean, we
Yeah,
already knew each other, but we met up and
yeah,
hung out for a bit. So yeah, do
yeah.
that. Do Star Wars Celebration is a spiritual journey, and it's the spiritual soul part of being a Star Wars fan. So
Yes.
do it.
Yes, hands down, go. Now diving back into the trailer, we are going to Coruscant again.
Let's go.
In a new Star Wars project, which is really cool and very interesting that we have been going back to Coruscant a lot lately. Because we first went into Coruscant with one of the new projects this past year in Andor, and then we went back in Bad Batch, and then we just went back in The Mandalorian, and now we're going in Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
Man, I love Coruscant. I loved seeing all the kind of familiar places in The Mandalorian, but in a different era. But now we're going into the era of the Galactic Civil War. So it's the age of the Empire. It's a very dark place. This is where, like, if you step on that planet and you're a Jedi, you are number one wanted. And that's really cool that we're seeing Cal go there. Now I'm curious of why he's going there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do we have any thoughts?
Couple. Well, first, a shout out to Coruscant for real. The Coruscant resurgence is strong in this new era of Star Wars. Love that, because if like I had Colin on my podcast, the Star Wars Exchange, and we're talking about the latest Mando episode with Coruscant and everything, and we were talking about how it felt like Lucasfilm Disney were striving away from prequel era stuff, so that included Coruscant, and they were always scared just to go back there again. And then now that it's just like back, it's like, well, let's go there in every medium, or in every genre and stuff. So I absolutely love that. But as to Cal going, I mean, I definitely think that there's few possibilities. The first one that comes to mind is, I mean, looks, maybe he has like a contact or something. The way the trailer set it up was with the one guy telling him like this could like change our path forever or something like that. So it's maybe there's a contact out there that he's I don't like theorizing too much, because then I fall down a rabbit hole of like this is gonna happen. But I'm just gonna go with that contact, and it's gonna be like, oh, they might have a big score, maybe against the Inquisitors or the Haxian Brood, but it's definitely going to challenge Cal in terms of which path he wants to be on, the one with the Mantis crew or the one where he ventures solo, which we'll see.
Right. And I also think that him going to Coruscant is going to be very interesting because he hasn't been there in a very long time. And
Yes.
I don't think he went in the book, right? In the new book. No. Okay. So yeah, so he hasn't been there like since around the beginning of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's been over a decade for him, most likely.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just very cool to see too because yeah, it's people. One of the complaints of the first game was that it was too these areas were too like foresty and they were too much in the
Yep.
natural environment and there were no they weren't in cities. We didn't get to see like cool cities in the game and stuff. So it's very cool that we are seeing Coruscant once again. So yeah, my thoughts
Yeah.
on Coruscant. Can you tell I love Coruscant? I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing is we haven't been to Coruscant in a game either since the Lego Star Wars game and that just came out last year and that was like an open world though. But
Right.
this I don't know how restricted will be because it's not like we'll be able just to walk on the streets of Coruscant like Grand Theft Auto or anything like that.
Right.
I think it's gonna be like kind of contained areas, probably in the higher like levels and the lower levels. But how crazy would it be if we actually got the chance to go through the Jedi Temple and you have to go around and you maybe see, him kind of glance and you see like a couple of the Jedi that, got killed. And that would be very, very sad to see. And I remember we kind of dealt with that in Star Wars The Force Unleashed, the first game.
All right.
Yeah. And I remember going through that and at that time, Order 66 was like, there, but we didn't have the impact of the Clone Wars or anything just yet, like fully. And now that we do, seeing everything that we saw in the Clone Wars and how crazy it was to have the clones turn against the Jedi, I think going back there is going to be really tragic.
Yes.
If that happens. Do you think we'll end up going back to the temple or hoping?
I hope so.
Okay.
Because isn't it at this point it's the Imperial Palace, right? Emperor
Yes.
Palpatine's
Yeah.
little headquarters. So I would like to see Cal's reaction because I'm sure he doesn't even know about that. And maybe it has to do something with Seer Junda and her like she has the book Battle Scars definitely sets this up where it's like the hollow
Yep.
the hollow files, the data bank that she has in the trailer. The library.
Yes,
The
the library.
the library.
Yeah.
And it would be cool if let's say she's sending him out or they're all going to retrieve more information just to realize, oh my god, it's no longer the Jedi Temple, it's no longer the Hollow Archives, it's the Imperial Palace. Palpatine lives there now. That would be that to see someone's reaction to that would be actually amazing to see because I think
Yes.
that while we've gone the Imperial Palace and comics and stuff, and we were all surprised when that took place, like, oh my god, it's the Jedi Temple. They didn't knock it down. Well, we see him Return of the Jedi in the special editions in the background,
Yes.
but it's like they had to do something with it. They rebuilt one of the spires that was knocked down during Order 66. So what happened? So I really would like to see if this game, if Cal was going, or even just passing by and like, oh, it's still up. I would have thought they destroyed it, and you see the Imperial banners right there. Oh, so dark. So
I
tragic.
feel like this is kind of deja vu from the conversation that we had on your guys' podcast because I was like so invested of the temple, and then this trailer came out, and that's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, I want to go back.
Right.
And we see him kind of trying to find his way off this platform, and we see a security ship that we've seen a lot, which we actually just saw it again in the Mandalorian.
Yes.
And then the first time I think we saw it was in the Clone Wars. So
Yes.
it's cool that they keep, incorporating things from that era. And the next shot is very interesting. This is a creature that we've never seen before. We don't have a name from him. But I like how the person that's, kind of threatening him does have B-1 battle droids, and we will be fighting a decent amount of separatist repurposed battle droids in this game that was confirmed in one of the trailers. Here's a closer shot of the character. because again, I don't think we've seen this creature. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we've never seen this creature.
Are you sure that's not Meeber Gascon?
Well, yeah, because like he's like a mixture of like a frog and then like that definitely reminds me of like a rainforest, like
Yes.
frog,
Oh,
except his face is just very like flat, like
oh, the
very very
Rainforest
flat.
Cafe mascot. Oh, tragic. Um, yes, I was like a little appalled at first. I'm like, what is that? But then I was like, oh, wait. I was like, is this? I thought it was like, are they going for a Meeber Gascon look? But I forgot that the eyes are a little bit different than that. But yeah, this is I love the color scheme. It does look. It reminds me of that Rainforest Cafe mascot.
Yep.
But I mean, it looks cool. It looks very Star Wars. Yeah, I like the Star Wars
Yeah.
touch. It looks like a frog, but not really.
I could see a celebrity like doing some type of like voice cameo like for
Mm,
that character. I could just see it. I don't know
oh
why, but
yeah.
I could just see it. But in our next shot, we have Cal fighting one of the antagonists potentially. I don't think this is this the guy in the back to tank. I don't think it's him. I think
No.
it's someone else. It might be one of his enforcers or something. But he's got a cross guard saber, most likely from the High Republic era, and we don't really. Again, this is something I really like is that we don't know that much about the antagonist of the game. I feel like the Empire will play a part, but also there will be the person in the back to tank that will be playing a part in Cal's journey, which sounds like he's going to be, very grateful at first that he saved him, but then there's a line in this trailer that kind of makes it sound like,
Yep.
uh, he's not happy. But seeing seeing a cross guard lightsaber, how do we feel about that? Because I know when Kylo's was first like, kind of um when it first appeared, people had a very mixed feelings about it. How do we
Yes.
see it being used by someone else that's not Kylo?
Feels like home. It feels like a callback to Kylo to Force Awakens. I remember when it popped up, the crossguard popped up in Rebels with Ezra holding it for a quick second. I thought that was cool. I was like, okay, that this feels very in tune to the universe. It feels Force Awakens when everyone saw that new lightsaber design. It's like, well, Darth Maul had two, and you up the ante with that, and now you're upping the ante again by adding three, and then the next trilogy we're gonna see maybe four. But at least that's what the memes went along with. But
Yeah.
I still think the Kylo Ren lightsaber is very cool. And once we got some world building with that and some lore exploration where it went all the way to the Scourge of the Jedi on Malachor, and then
Yeah.
before that it was the High Republic. So I like it. I like that it stems back thousands and thousands, hundreds and thousands of years before Kylo Ren's time, and it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, I whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely. It just feels, and we'll see Cal wielding it, and I'm just like, oh, that just feels like everything coming together, really.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing it in Star Wars Rebels when they're on the planet, and when Ezra picks it up and he's kind of like, he's
Yes.
shocked and amazed by it as much as we are because we're like, oh my gosh, like we haven't seen one since Kylo, and then at the
Right.
time, and then all the books and everything came out. But yeah, it's I love seeing more world building and it coming back. I'm curious of like of what the story behind that saber is. But going forward in the trailer, we have Cal and we got Marin, and she is kind of explaining uh to hone on to what you have. Hold on to it tightly. Don't take advantage of the time that you have, or it might slip away. And seeing Marin with her her hood is down, um, and we have this shot. I don't know if this is like a nightmare sequence or something, uh,
Mm.
but I'm just trying to think of what planet it could be.
Yeah, no clue on the planet.
Yeah,
But you're right. It could be a dream sequence. It could be
yeah,
some type of experience that we had with his visions in the last game where he would use his psychometry, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And he would touch something and it would spark a memory. So this could definitely be something um, forthcoming or something. And just, I mean, really, the force power is about the past. So I'm betting it's just about that rather than like a force vision about the future.
Yeah. And seeing him go back to Coruscant,
Beautiful.
Amazing. I think that might be a shot of 1313. Well, it might be an Easter egg. I don't think it's 1313, like
Right.
of that area of the underworld. But if we go there, that'd be pretty cool.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
In the first image or in the first really the announcement trailer for the game, when we see that guy in the tank in the background, it did look like a city and it looked like they were in the underworld of Coruscant. What if he's
Yeah.
going there to, meet up with this guy about that senator? They confirmed that the Powan, is that what they're called?
Oh, yes.
What if he's going there for I don't know, he has it looks like an underground meeting with a senator of the Empire, and there's this guy in the tank. What is going on? Is that why he's back in Coruscant? Could be, or did he stumble upon the senator in that in that tank? And so what? I'm very curious. So that might be why he goes to Coruscant, is a meeting with the senator, and then I think that's where my bet is, I guess now, because I totally forgot about that first trailer.
Yeah, no, because of they showed that at Celebration, and I was surprised they didn't have a panel. They didn't have a panel or anything for it. Like, they just dropped the trailer, and I forget what panel I was at, but I was walking out of it and I saw the trailer and I was like, wait, what?
Yes.
But that also gave me a lot of questions because I didn't know if we would if going to Coruscant would play a large role. I figured him being in the office area, because I definitely remember seeing like the kind of traffic in the background, which was like, okay, Coruscant, but I didn't think we would actually be able to go full out there. So I'm really glad that we're going to be able to go back to Coruscant. But we've got this shot, we've got a other shot, which made me really happy because, again, a lot of people were worried that we weren't going to get some of the main characters in the first game in this game, and we do in this trailer, and it was great to see Kryze again and Marin, and I love the bond that all these characters have, and it's definitely carried from the first game. And if you read the book, that will make you fall in love with the characters even more. So
have you read the book?
I have not, unfortunately. Okay. I keep hearing great things about it, though. You included. Yeah,
I need to do my review, but when you pulled up the picture of Marin, I'm like, you poor soul, you poor girl. If you read Battle Scars, no spoilers, but she's just been through some time. And the book, well, Cal is like the main image on that cover. Marin is not too far off, and she gets a ton of development that I think everybody should read. And the crew, it's like reading a continuation. It's really like the author Sam Maggs captures the characters so well. So Grease right here. Why does he have a metal arm? Read the book. I just, Grease has become one of my like favorite like side characters in Star Wars. He's just everything. Like, I think I would say that he's kind of like the heart of the group. Even though I would, I would definitely, if looking at them or like playing the game, I'd be like, oh, Cal. But once you dig into the mechanisms of the group and everything, I would definitely say it's Grease. He's a shell, but deep down there's something there, and it's what makes the group work together. So, Grease, what a guy! But seriously, read Battle Scars. Like, looking at the image of Marin, I'm like, she even has a different look, shorter hair. Yeah, she kind of has like that Ventress look that Ventress does in Dark Disciple.
Yeah. Which that's also a series that I was hoping that they would do because I know they did the Lost Missions for the Clone Wars, right? I wish they continued that, because there's the Darth Maul stuff, there's all the stuff with Ventress, and that was all supposed to be, actual Clone Wars TV show stuff, and it got canceled when the deal happened between Lucasfilm and Disney and everything. And That really, really saddens me because again, I love seeing all that stuff, in book, but seeing that in screen would have been awesome.
Oh, and it's definitely what Clone Wars was building up to. Because now we were just getting out to the Fallout action with what was happening with Maul,
Yep.
Mandalore,
Yep.
and I'm glad we got to see the Mandalore stuff. But they were all building up to this in a way that it could be like an explosive finale. All the Grievous stuff in there. I mean,
Hmm.
look at Crystal Crisis arc. That was just.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I own. By the way, buy the Blu-ray
Yes.
for the Lost Missions because you get the bonus reels on there of the Utapau arc and
Hmm.
is Bad Batch arc on there? No, just the Utapau.
No. Oh,
I
okay.
don't think Bad Batch isn't on there, but the Utapau one is. And every time I have a Clone Wars marathon, I watch it, and it's it's obviously not the same animation you get. It's
No.
just it's the proxy animation.
Yeah.
However, the voices, the music, the sound effects, it's all there. It's
So
it's
good.
cut up and put together just like a normal regular
Yeah.
Clone Wars episode, except you're missing that awesome animation.
Yeah. And I know we keep getting sidetracked, but it's called Star Wars stuff. So it's stuff in
Star
general
Wars
that,
stuff. Yeah.
so don't
Love
get
that.
mad. But yeah. And we have Cal kind of going, it looks like he's going through, they're kind of going through a montage of different planets that we'll be able to go to. And there's one shot right here. What planet do we think this is?
Bespin. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I know we're getting a lot of new planets, and we're getting some similar ones, but right now there's only one planet that we know for sure. I can't think the name of it, but like of the new planets that they announced. But this planet right here looks stunning, and it looks like there's a lot going on, and it seems like Cal's gonna have to use a lot of his skills in the first game, but it looks like they also added a bunch of new ones as well.
Yes.
And you'll be able to use your lightsaber more in a way. It's not going to be just your single blade or if you wanted to go Darth Maul or anything like that. Like you'll actually be able to use two lightsabers at once. It's not just going to be that combo move that you'd be able to do in the first game. You're going to be able to use two at once, and I think that's great. And then you'll also going to be able to use your blaster. That is confirmed that you will be able to do your blaster fire combo with a lightsaber, kind of like what we saw in Rebels with Kanan.
Yeah.
Yep, and Ezra, and I cannot wait for that. I think that's going to be remarkable. But this planet in particular, this one definitely intrigues me because towards the left, it looks like there's this kind of upper city.
Yeah.
And you're just a single Jedi kind of leaping through the sky, and you got a bunch of TIE fighters everywhere. I'm so intrigued of how that will all play out.
Yeah. And I like this too, this very different setting, because one of the complaints of the footage we've seen so far is that before this trailer, I don't know what the noise is now yet, but because the trailer is just too brand new, but all the other stuff is like, especially the gameplay stuff, it's like the same game, it's just reskinned in a new environment, and I'm like, sure, but it's like we'll definitely see different stuff, and that's why I'm so happy to see Coruscant in this setting, because it's not the same game. Obviously it's going to have a very different story, but it's like not the same old like forest type environment or grasslands. It's like it's different. They're upping the ante here, especially with like this Cloud City looking structure. So this looks exciting, and this proves to all those people that's like, no, we're going to all these different places. It's kind of like Rebels. In season 1, we were basically in one location, and they went off planet like maybe once or twice, and then for the second season it was like, now they were everywhere. Name a planet and we'll be there. So
yeah,
I feel like this is what they're doing. They're taking that approach.
Yeah, no, I cannot. I just can't wait for the world building in this game.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to add more to the lore of Star Wars, and that's honestly like the big like, to me, that's my favorite thing of when a new Star Wars project comes out, because if you track all the way back to when the first movie came out, and it was like, oh yeah, well, pretty much every character and the cantina had a background story, right? Like they had some
Yes.
type of story. And now you go to present day, to where we have just mapped out so many characters, so many storylines, so many planets, so many creatures, and we're going to be doing that a lot in this game. And
Yes.
just seeing that jungle wampa
Yeah.
from the first trailer, I was so happy to see something familiar but different. And that thing is a beast. Like that thing is bigger than a normal wampa. So I'm really curious of what the name of that creature is. I don't have the shot available pulled up, but the next shot in the trailer is the mystery character. He is holding up a stormtrooper helmet, and he tosses the stormtrooper helmet at Cal, saying like, "How could you let the Jedi Order get beaten by these people?" And he's referring to the Empire, and he tosses the stormtrooper helmet. The mystery character, to me, I think he's from the High Republic in
Yes.
some, which is again tying in the era that we know with something different, and it's the first that we're getting, a character like this, and it's really cool that they're kind of mixing the eras. It's kind of like pulling Captain America. You know how it got frozen ice and then comes back. It's like this, but with not a superhero character.
Right.
It's got this character that is very, very conflicted, and it sounds like he's very disappointed in how Cal on why Cal hasn't defeated the Empire, because I think he held the Jedi to such a high standard in the High Republic era. And I think because Cal is one of the remaining Jedi, he's going to take his anger out on him. And that's going to be very intense. And I don't think, and I think Cal's going to have to kind of carry all that weight of the Jedi Order that fell on his shoulders. And that's going to really put his whole life in perspective when that happens. But there's nothing that we really know about this character, right? Like he doesn't have a name yet or anything.
No, the only thing that we know is that he is from the High Republic, because on this new trailer, if you zoom in on his robe, you see the High Republic emblem on the lords here. So you definitely know. What if he's the guy that I know it's not, because they look very different, but what if? Just bear with me here.
I'm bearing
what
with
if what if Cal was the one that this was the guy, this Jedi guy was the one in the tank? So your Captain America thing would be really cool, because he would literally come out of the tank and then he'd be like, "Where am I? What's going on here?" That would be so cool. But I know that's not the approach. But
I will. Well, I think you know, I'm not gonna lie. I think that is the same guy in the tank. I think it is him, and I think he'll wake up. He'll have that Captain America moment of where like, wait, I've been asleep all this time, and then when that happens, like, he's going to be very upset with the way that the galaxy is run now. And he's going to, and he's not going to have the same approach as Captain America did, which I don't think Captain America would have the same approach, if the Empire was, and to him, that would be like Hydra being in charge of everything.
Right.
And I think that this guy waking up and seeing that a dark power, the dark side, is running things in the galaxy, is going to mean that his whole mission during the High Republic era was for nothing. He in a way failed because he wasn't there. Well, there's no way that he would be there because of species, but in a way he feels like he failed because what he stood for has kind of died off. Like most of the Jedi are dead, and he comes back and there's one Jedi left, and he's going to take his anger on him because he's the only Jedi that's there besides Obi-Wan and Yoda and all of them. But it's not like he'll go and Tatooine and be like, "What have you done?" But yeah, so that's going to really make things crazy for Cal, because he's also trying to fight the Empire at the same time as this guy, which I don't think, I mean, do you think this mystery character is going to join the Empire, or do you think he's going to kind of go into his own vigilante way and try and take down the Empire himself?
I think he'll be a Saw Gerrera type, where he'll do his own dirty type of fighting with the Empire. So you already saw the way he kicked that Stormtrooper helmet. He was like, "You let these guys take over." And I mean, because if he is from the High Republic era, he could have survived because he's definitely an alien species, definitely
Yeah.
humanoid, but he's definitely alien. He could have survived all this time. I think he looks like one of those cage warriors that we saw in Clone Wars with the vibro blades that they were
Oh
that
yeah, yeah,
Ventress
yeah.
and Boba fought. I
Yes.
think that look, if they and I forgot what they're called. There's a name for them, I think, but you know, um, but anyways, he could definitely be from the High Republic era, but he's just maybe like 300, 200 years old or whatnot. So that could definitely be the case. But it's like, if that's the case, why are you still wearing your High Republic
Right.
robes? Very
Right.
interesting, and especially in this time of hiding. So I'm curious as to why he's wearing those robes. Maybe it's just the day that he wears them of the week, and that's the days that we see him. But very curious, very curious. Lots to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. And going forward, we see Marin with her spear, and she's got a cool new outfit. She has her hair grown out, kind of like Ventress and the Dark Disciple novel. And I am excited to see more Marin, and it looks like we'll be getting a decent amount of combo missions where you'll have some of the other characters right next to each other, and they'll be going on different missions with you. I don't think it's going to be a 2-player game, but
Right.
if they wanted to, I don't think anyone would be disappointed.
Yes.
But I think seeing these characters interact more than just where you go talk to them and they actually fight alongside you is really, really cool.
Yes.
So I'm hoping to see that more. How do we feel about her outfit? Because it kind of threw me off. Like especially her holding the spear. I think the spear looks great.
Yeah. Read Definitely say read Battle Scars because you'll get to. This is definitely not to say it's an emo look. Emo look. Like, go read if you have the chance, even on Audible. Read
Yeah.
Battle Scars. You can listen to it and just find out about her story. Like, it's just, and on the image of Battle Scars, it's her like Fallen Order, like clean look where she's wearing her Dathomirian robes, and she experiences a lot in Battle Scars, and we get to see where her mind was at in the Fallen Order game, just because we never got that perspective. Or it dives more. It's a more nuanced approach where
Yeah.
you just get to spend time with her. And I think what you just said about that we'll get to play with some of the characters. Yeah, that would be cool because it's so cool in the book when we're focusing, on Grease's perspective or Marin's. You're inside their head. You're knowing what they're thinking, and you get to see what I think of Cal per se, because we could assume what they think in the game, but it's like when you get confirmation of what's going on in their head about certain characters, it just means all the more. So I think with that look, it says a lot of
Yeah.
questions, but I think most of the questions can be answered in Battle Scar. So definitely do your homework before, and not just you, Colin, everyone, do your homework before the game comes out April 28th.
Man, I'm not feeling like I'm getting called out at all. That's fine. Yeah, no, I will definitely have to check that out because I remember reading the novel for Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we actually get the introduction to Inferno Squad, and then you go into the game and you feel like you understand these characters more. So
Yes.
Mike, I'm with you. You have convinced me. I will go and read the book. I'll go on Audible. I will check it out.
Actually, I'll help you out. I have the audio. I will share it with you. Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Now this is a semi Clone Wars, not Dave Filoni Clone Wars, but 2003 Clone Wars Easter egg.
Yes.
This is the same species as Dirge, and I love that character Dirge. Our co-host on the podcast, his name is Josh. He loves Dirge too, and seeing this species come back is really, really, really cool. And we haven't seen so Dirge he's canon,
Yes.
but we haven't seen him, on screen or anything. So seeing his species on screen is super great. I would love to see Dirge on screen at some point soon, maybe in season 3 of the Bad Batch.
Ooh,
maybe.
cool.
But seeing his species on here is great. I can't pronounce it for the life of me, but I yeah, but I think he's going to be the mystery High Republic character, like his muscle. I think
Yes, yes.
he's, which I'm curious in how they meet, because I don't think that this character is from the High Republic. I think he's kind of doing his own thing, and then maybe the mystery High Republic character kind of makes his own like alliance and kind of makes quotations friends along the way, and maybe this is one of the people that he meets, and then we have the next shot, which it definitely brings us back to the first game where
Yes.
it's a lot of puzzles, a lot of solving. Don't be that guy, or don't be that person. Go on YouTube and watch gameplay. Figure it out for yourself.
Hell, hate that. Come on, y'all.
But yeah, so he then kind of puts the glowing orb onto the pedestal, and then the bridge appears, and that's again this game is a puzzle solving one as much as it is action. But
yes,
I remember doing the mission on Elam, and to me, that was probably one of the hardest ones, of getting all the lights to melt the ice, like of just arranging. Oh man, I remember that, and I was just getting so frustrated, but I got it eventually.
Yeah.
And then we have this shot right here. Now I don't know why, but this reminds me of the Old Republic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There were. Now I didn't play like of the newer Old Republic games, like the online games, but I've seen a decent amount of gameplay, and this kind of looks like one of those structures of where they would of where the Jedi and Sith would kind of meet and try and negotiate, which I don't think those games are, well, technically they are canon, but I just remember of watching some gameplay of them meeting at a place that looks very similar to this. Not the High Republic, but the Old Republic.
The old, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
they're also talking, when we see the shot, we're hearing them kind of talk about like a new safe haven for people. But I think they're referring to Jedi, because I think Cal is semi still on that still on that mission where he's not trying to restore them fully, but just to try and find like a sanctuary for Jedi. How do we feel about them finding a different place, a safe haven, if you will, for survivors?
Makes sense, because I mean, when they were trying to build up their own place on Bogano, and that is the place where we meet, the Boglings and that crocodile type creature that we would all die from hundreds of times. And when we thought it was safe until the Empire showed up and Trilla showed up, and she stole the holocron from Cal, and they had to go to Fortress Inquisitorius to steal it back. So I think that it's like, okay, well, we can't go back there anymore, because if you remember when the game ends of Fallen Order, they're like, well, where to now? And I'm like, well, they can't go to Bogano anymore, because it's been found, and the Empire is probably storming that place, and which is very unfortunate, because it was their safe haven for a while, and that's where they thought they were going to grow. I mean, there's just all these shots too where it was Seer talking to Cal, and she was like, I would love to order, and he just kind of be like looking and taking in the awe of Bogano and the sun setting, and just the grassland plains of that area, of that place, and the peace that it would bring. And it's like, yeah, there could be kids running around here one day, and the training academy and all that. But it's like, we can't do that here anymore. We have to find someplace else. So
Yeah,
I like that. It makes sense. It's not even something I really thought about until now, to be honest, but I absolutely love that idea.
Yeah.
And actually, while we were flipping through the slides, one more thing on the Dirge type character.
Yes.
So I remember reporting on it when it first came out through IGNN. So I have a quote here which is very interesting. I just want to.
Oh yeah. It's the super long one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Um,
Yep. Go ahead.
so I just quoted the most important part though, but this comes from Respawn cinematic director Dori Arazi, and this is talking about the inclusion of the Gendai series. I'm sorry, species. Okay,
Gendai. There you go.
but
That was
not
it.
to be confused with Gendy's Clone Wars series.
Mhm.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. What makes the Gendai so interesting is that in their own mind and in their own world, they're very chivalrous. They have a code to adhere to. It binds them to a certain code of honor for their conduct. It also binds them to their history and what's left of their people. So this guy's name is Ravis, who we were talking about here. So Ravis is
Ravis,
not
okay.
just this gruff grunt number 7 who can take down an army down. He's got a long past. He's seen a lot of history. He could be 1,000 years old. He's seen empires fall, rise and fall. He's seen the Jedi rise and fall. He's seen the rise of the actual empire itself. So he's got a lot of tragic history and a lot of depth that we try to explore. So yeah, he could definitely be linked to this Jedi guy, and as
Yeah.
you were saying, be this kind of be the muscle. But to know that he has a lot of history kind of reminds me of like Zeb from Rebels, where it's like he's not
Yes.
just a muscle, but he has a lot of his, and he's seen a lot of things. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Very interested in Ravis. I just had deja vu right now. This is crazy. Anyways,
Yeah. No.
I'm
No.
like, Colin.
I remember reading that quote, and I remember our friend Josh was just freaking out because again he loves this series like of the game and story and everything, and he loves Dirge, so I know he's definitely freaking out. And he actually said that he didn't want to do a breakdown of any of the trailers or anything for Jedi Survivor because he's so pumped up, and he doesn't want the like of what you said earlier. He doesn't want to fall into a rabbit hole like full of theories or anything. So like he just wants to be shocked and surprised. And I told him, I'm like, well, there's a chance that they're going to talk about the game at Celebration. When we go, are you just gonna walk out of the room? And he's like, no. Like I'll still be there, but like I'm just trying to avoid as much as possible. I'm like, all right, bro, but we'll probably see that at Celebration. And we've got this. We have this next shot. I love how Cal is going to be able to do these different combo moves with these different characters. I don't think we've really met him in canon before. I think he's just getting his introduction in this game, right?
Yes.
Of this character. He's got 2 blasters, which is really cool. And the first gameplay trailer, we saw him do like a flip thing over Cal's back, and he like kind of he shoots one of the scout troopers, which I know there's gonna be a lot of scout troopers that are gonna be taking a lot of hits in this game.
Yes.
Yeah. And how do we feel about this character? Because we see him help out in the first trailer too, where like he's helping Cal kind of Cal was on a ledge and then he helps him off the ledge.
Right. I love the way his blasters are to the sides. Reminds me of oh wait, I just watched the episode the other day. Mayfeld
Oh yes,
from Mandalorian. The way he has
Yep.
his blasters on his upper chest, so that's very cool. It's very handy like that. So yes, reminds me of Mayfeld. And then the voice actor who plays that character, he plays Admiral Rampart in Bad Batch. And he was also in what game was he? Well, he was in Red Dead, but I think he was in Fallen Order. Or no, I'm sorry. That's another game that he voiced the character for. Or maybe I'm just getting confused. But anyways, he's definitely Admiral Rampart in Bad Batch, and now he's coming to the Star Wars games with this character.
There you go. Didn't know that. That's really cool.
Very cool. Fun fact. But yeah, the character is very intriguing because one thing we learned is that he's helping Cal. It's like, oh, who's this new character? Cool. And now he's proposing something to Cal. And not to say that he'll be the Trilla of this game, but he's definitely trying to get Cal on a different path. So I'm very interested in where that might go. And look at that image. I love Grease and his new long hair, beard, whatever you got going on there.
His hair gets long too, like his actual hair in the back. And kind of going with what you were talking about on Cal's path, I think they did say that they were trying to make it make this game series into a trilogy.
Yes.
So there's a chance that this game will end up like on a. I'm hoping it would end up like on some type of cliffhanger, because if it ends on a cliffhanger, that means that we don't have to wait that long for the next game. Hopefully,
Yes.
because again, this game is the first game was amazing. I just loved everything about the characters, and this new game looks fantastic. And in this shot right here, where we have where we have Grease and Marin, they are looking at this. I don't think it's a ship. I think it was an asteroid type thing of a possible new safe haven. It could also just, just be a different side mission. It has nothing to do with what they're actual saying, because of what Mike was talking about, how the character before was trying to lead Cal on this new path of maybe trying to create, a new safe haven for different survivors and refugees, kind of like in the Bad Batch, where there is the planet Pabu and the
Yes.
island, and they got the different refugees, something like that. And I could see them going on that path with Cal, and he, it says, hey, there are more people than just Jedi. There's other there are other survivors of different situations as well. But
Right.
we have them, on the Mantis, looking at this asteroid, which again, I'm glad that that we are on the Mantis again, because I loved that. And then we have this next shot of where we have the combo thing where I was talking about before, of where we have Marin and Cal are just fighting this scout trooper, um, and she's also using her her magic, which is awesome.
Yes.
Again, I don't think we know if we're going to be able to play these characters. Besides Cal, it would be great to play as these other characters. But they haven't announced if we're going to be able to, maybe kind of do like what we do in Star Wars Lego, if we're like, all right, I'm going to hop to this character, hop to this character. I don't think we would be able to do anything like that. It would be great, but I don't think we will. I think we're just going to be able to have them there. I really hope I'm wrong, though, because I think of Jumbo to Marin and these other characters would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to. I think they did say something along those lines where you could play other characters, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't even know why I
Okay.
brought that up, but it just like there's a fighting thought in me that's like say it, because they had said something, but I definitely haven't been keeping up with a lot of the news, because as the co-host of this podcast, I'm trying to avoid like just knowing everything about this game so I could be like surprised with some of the stuff. So
Yes,
I'm not too sure about
that.
that. But if you
Yeah.
know, comment and let us know.
Yes, yes. And then we have this awesome
Oh,
shot of BD1 staring directly into the camera and into our souls, and saying,
yes.
"Hey, go and buy the game if you haven't pre-ordered the game yet. Go."
And the
uh,
lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge.
yes. And for those who were lucky enough to order the collector's edition, kudos to you. We did get our hands on one, and it will be here like of when the game launches, of course. So we're super excited for that. That's going to our co-host Josh, because again, he loves his game, he loves everything, so that all went to him. And when the game comes out, Josh and I are going to be pulling an all-nighter, and our goal is to beat it like without going to sleep. I think it can be done. Will we be tired? Absolutely. Will it be worth it? Sure. Because I just know that we're going to be exhausted. But we have the final shot of Cal actually flying the Mantis, and we see him crash into a TIE fighter. Now, it actually showed him flying the ship. Do you think we're going to have a chance to fly any ships in this game?
I hope so. I think that look, I love my Star Wars. I should say, I love Jedi Fallen Order. Like on a scale out of 10, I'd rate it like a 9.5 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like I just love game. I played it so many times during quarantine. Like I just played
Yeah.
the heck out of it because not, I mean, it was fun gameplay and everything, but I just absolutely loved the story, and Cal struggles kind of resonated with some of mine. So I absolutely love the character and all of the game. That being said, I did miss my space battles.
Yes.
I did miss my space battles in that. So I really hope that we do get to um, have some of that this time around, whether we're on the Mantis or not. But that would be fun. I mean, uh, yeah, it would be fun to have in Battlefront 2, the campaign. Whenever we got to do have some fighter action, I would just
Yeah.
eat that stuff up because I just love my space battles. Battlefront 2, like the original one, loved the ground assaults and ground fights, but I would
Yep.
always be doing space battles and taking out separatist frigates
Yep.
or the Empire's um, ships. Like, it was just so much fun to do. So yes, I would love for us to play some space.
I also would love for them to break the cycle of just getting to the second game of the franchise of Star Wars Battlefront. Go to Star Wars Battlefront 3, please. We
Yes.
love that game. That game was amazing. I remembered when they shut off the service for that, and then the player count rose, which is crazy to think about, like how great the game still is, and the servers for that are fantastic. Like, people are still on it a lot. I'm still leveling up. I was an Xbox, now I'm on PlayStation, so now I have to start all over again. I have to do the 5,000 kill count thing for the old master skin for Darth Maul, and I remember getting that for Xbox, and that was a journey. So I got to do that all over again.
No.
But yeah, so I'm low-key hoping that they announce Star Wars Battlefront 3 soon, because I think everyone would be very, very excited for that.
Oh yeah,
And then
definitely.
we have the trailer ending with the logo, and we have the date, April 28th. The original date was March 17th. That was supposed to be a couple of days ago. And we tragically didn't get it. That's fine. We are getting it in April, and that's the trailer. I honestly love the trailer. I can't believe that we did almost an hour of breaking the whole thing down, but yeah,
It's Star Wars. What can you
it's
expect?
exactly. If there's one thing, all right. So, not is there anything in the trailer that you haven't seen, but you've heard about? Is there anything like that you're excited for, or are you just kind of playing that game of mystery of where you're like, all right, cool, like, well,
Mis-
once I see it, I see it.
Mystery. I mean,
Okay.
unfortunately for me, I have to like cover the game to some capacity on my page.
Yeah.
So I'm not aware of too many details at the moment, but I will be in due time before the game comes out. So that's the unfortunate thing. I know people are like, "Oh, does it really matter? Like, who cares?" But it's like, it's like sometimes you just want to go into something not knowing anything and just experience it for the first time.
Yep.
Because I feel like this time around they're even releasing more things about the game and letting us know. But I really hope that the campaign stuff gets a little bit better, just because I like the trailers for the first Jedi Fallen, or for the first installment Jedi Fallen Order. I thought those trailers were fantastic, every one of them.
Yeah.
The music, the cuts, the pacing, it was just great. Like, go back and watch those. Those are amazing.
Trust
These
in the Force. Dun,
Yes.
dun, dun. Yeah, I
Oh
remember that.
man, the music. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's nostalgia right there. But these trailers are okay. I this past one I think is my favorite so far, and I think it's really good compared to the other ones. I thought the other ones were okay, but I mean, this one just wants me to get the game and play it now type deal, or like look up details. But I guess right now my headset is like just going into the game, kind of just like, well, whatever you guys, whatever adventure awaits, I'm ready to get on the Mantis and
There you
explore.
go.
I know there's gonna be some type of like hyperspace travel, or like just gonna be like more of like see, I don't even know. Like, that's
Yeah.
something that I would like to know beforehand. Like, go back to my coverage of the Lego game that came out last year. Every single detail about it was on my page. And now this time I'm like, yeah, the game comes out April 28th.
Yeah.
But how about you? Is there anything?
So I am excited that they're adding the
Oh,
fast
right.
travel in this game. So, and it sounds like you'll be able to do that with different creatures as well, like depending on the map. Uh, I think something else as well is that we are going to get a couple of familiar planets like we did in the first game, but then we are definitely going places that we've never seen before. And again, it's just adding more to the world building and everything. And as people who, who are active in the Star Wars community, like you and I, of where we have a podcast or we have a uh, a fact page, or of those type of things, people don't realize, like, yes, we are doing all this stuff, but we're also fans as well, so we try and enjoy it as you guys, but we also have to enjoy it in a different way because we also have to deliver all of these facts to you
Right.
guys.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I am 100% with you. I'm excited, but I would like to keep my distance, but also I know that I have to, kind of bring all the knowledge to everyone as well. So
Right.
it's just finding like that, that kind of fine balance. But
Exactly.
I'm definitely excited. I've got uh, I've got I've got Lego BD1. I've got the lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
I'm set, man. I also have BD1 all 3D printed. I just got to sand it down and paint it and glue it together and everything. So I'm gonna have a life size one because that was the first thing that my wife and I printed when we first actually got our 3D printer. So now we're actually starting to work on it and everything. And our goal is to have most of it done by the launch of the game. So
I hate that it's sentimental to you because I was gonna say when I go to your house, I was gonna take it. So now I can't. I was gonna be like, I'm taking that thing home with me. I can't now because it's sentimental value. So I won't do that. But
yeah. So yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely excited for this game, and I love how the actor Cameron Monaghan is also very excited for the game because he just posted on Instagram of him kind of taking selfies with his poster and everything. And then I remember seeing him at the panel back in 2019, and you could just see the childish like smile and wonder like that he had during that panel, being like, I'm in Star Wars. Like that's so cool. And that makes me happy when the people involved in Star Wars are, fans of it as well.
Right.
And that's what makes their characters more, more relatable to me because they understand what universe they're in and what they're doing. Right. Because there's some actors that kind of, all right. So I think one exception would be Bill Burr, because he was not a Star Wars fan. But he came in and he played Mayfield in such a glorious way, and it was a very interesting take on a Star Wars character. And I don't think we've really ever seen anything like that before. And then you get his redemption in season 2 of Mando, and that was amazing. So yeah, no, to me, I love it when the actors or people involved are Star Wars fans themselves going into these projects. Because then it shows how much love and care that they have when you see them on screen or of what they're doing.
So. Absolutely. Cameron Monaghan, I was so close to taking a picture with him at Celebration 2019. We were just walking around, and then all of a sudden, like there's like this huddle that forms, and me and my friend went up to it, and it was Cameron Monaghan, and he was just out there taking pictures with people, and you don't see that a lot at Celebration. So he was out there taking pictures with people, and there was like a whole, and he wasn't even known yet that much in the Star Wars community. Like they had just announced, or they were just about to announce the game or whatever. So he was just like, oh, it's Cameron Monaghan, the guy from Gotham, Joker, or Shameless, who I watched Shameless, and he's great in it. But I almost got a picture with him before he was pulled away, but he was just like such a cool guy and looked down to earth, and seeing his love for Star Wars all the time is so cool. And even the actress who played Marin was in Shameless in an episode. So I'm just like, it's so cool, man. It's whenever you see those actors out there like spilling their love for Star Wars, it's just like, yeah, I'm with you. That's something that we have in common. You know, it's like you love Star Wars, I love Star Wars. That's so cool. So
Yeah.
Cameron is one of those cheerleaders for Star Wars. That I'm just like, yeah, happy you're here.
Yeah. Yeah. And as excited we are now, get ready in a couple of weeks because we got Star Wars Celebration and we got all that news dropping. And it's not just going to be, projects that are coming out this year. They'll probably talk about Andor season 2. They'll be talking about the Acolyte. There's going to be a bunch of, different projects and things that, that a bunch of us don't know about yet. So I'm really, really excited to see all that happen. You will find some of us in London. So if you see some of us there, come and say hi. We may or may not have some swag for you all. So come and say hi to us. Again, I want to thank Mike for coming on here. He is he's a great human being. He has been doing this for 6-7 years now, right?
Almost 10.
10 years. Wow,
10 years this year.
10 years. That's incredible. And you engage like with everyone that that is on your page, and you of how we were talking about, how people involved in Star Wars that like love Star Wars and they do this. You're one of those people. Like you put so much care into everything you do, and it shows a lot. So
thank you.
Please go and check Mike out because he is such a phenomenal human being, and he knows his stuff, and he's great at what he does. So go and check it out.
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate that.
Of course. From myself and Mike, thank you so much for listening. Can't wait to see more stuff from Jedi Fallen Order. You can go follow us on Instagram at Star Wars Stuff Pod, Twitter at Stuff Pod. We're also on Patreon. Thank you for everyone that is part of our Patreon. We love you all so much. We're also on TikTok at Star Wars Stuff Podcast. We also have our own email, starwarstuffpodcast@gmail.com. Facebook, Star Wars Stuff Group, and Star Wars Stuff Podcast page. Please go on Apple Podcasts. Please give us a review. And just, and Twitch. This is very, very important. Star Wars Stuff Gaming. I keep bothering Mike, but we got to do Ewok Hunt, bro. We got to do Ewok Hunt. You, me, Ari, and a couple other people, but we have to do it.
Heck yeah.
Yep. So with that being said, from myself and Mike, may the Force be with you always.
Love you.